I love how you guys are negotiating on what's acceptable to leave the cold. Cold out of the single digits, or as Dale moved it, everyone, or worded it, I should say, everyone moved to Greenland if you want to chase the cold. All right, guys, lot to cover. Oh, all right. Hope you guys had a good weekend. Hope you tried to stay warm the best you possibly could. I'm wave meteorologist Brian Good. Welcome to SnowTALK. Heck of a month, right? Frozen solid outside. You know it's rough, though, when you can't tell the difference between the snow that's on the ground and the amount of calcium chloride and salt treatment on the roads. When it looks about the same, it's been typically, that's what we see in January, right? Like mid-January especially, we get that look outside. All the cars look the same. Actually, the cars look like the cars. I reference this a lot, but they do. They look like the scene from Poltergeist. Is it 3? I think it's Poltergeist 3. They're in that parking garage, and everything's like ice cave look to it. With Carol Ann that's in there. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. If you're a horror movie fan, you know what I'm talking about. Where everything's just iced over. That's what I think of with the cars right now. They're just all gray car wash lines. I mean, obviously, right now you don't want to be doing that because we're below freezing. It's just going to cause you problems. But in the coming days, they're going to be long. And even though we do have rain and a good soaking rain, which will get the treatment off the roads on Thursday, that will help. But until then, you do need to try to get that off your car before you get to that point, if possible. So I would say maybe tomorrow, more likely Wednesday, the lines will be really long. So, yeah, plan accordingly on that. Angela, I saw your comment a second ago. I already lost it now because it flew on by about how this weather's making you wear jackets and coats, and you despise that. I'm not a big coat wearing person either. I'm one of those, I always leave it in the car, or I hate carrying it around. I don't know. I'm very forgetful, so I hate to bring things in because I know I'm going to leave them. So it's easier for me just to bear it and run to the car. I know you're not supposed to do that, but I do that only because I don't want to leave anything. All right, so where do we go from here? Well, let's start like we always do at this point in the morning, right? Let's get right into the snowboard. And it's a different looking snowboard. Late Thursday, rain to brief snow, and that's still a maybe. And does not look to be impactful right now because we don't really get to 32 until very late at night. And the wind is going to be quite strong with this. So the wind will likely dry up most of the road. So we're not looking at a flash freeze or anything like that. So overall, the wintry aspects, nothing really major coming our way. All we need is a couple of days to avoid the blog, and we've been able to say that, which is nice. I think we're all ready for a bit of change, right? There's a live look right now into New Albany. Oh, I don't know who would want to sit on that bench right now, but it's a cold look out there along the Ohio. And for some reason, someone wrote, I'm not sure if I should show this. Should I show this? I don't know. I'll show it briefly. Tawana, you let me know if I shouldn't be, but someone wrote Creed in the snow at the Great Lawn. I'm not sure what the hashtag means, but Creed there in the snow. All right. Anyway, some people were having fun. I think it was Greed originally. I think that's what Tawana said, and someone keeps changing the lettering out there. Around this town, you never know. You never know. All right. Well, I know we're all frozen solid. I checked on my pond too this morning, and I've been doing that the past several days. I've got an aerator in it to try to keep the ice from forming on top so that Gary and No Name and Michelle, they're at the bottom of the pond taking their long winter nap. And all my koi are in there, making sure they're okay. But you want to keep that top layer, if you can, from freezing up, as it does trap a lot of the carbon dioxide under the ice. And it can be toxic to fish if you don't have plant life, especially living in the pond. It can be toxic to them. And I learned that lesson years ago. So you want to have the ability to break it up. So if you haven't done so yet, or able to get out there and just take something, kind of poke the ice. If you have a Oriental pond outside that you use for koi, make sure you use that to shake it up. Any type of life, though, under the water, plant life will help. Not as much of a threat. Now, I have some, but unfortunately, the turtles eat it all. So I have to constantly break it up the top. Yes, it is the name of a band. I know, but I didn't know if there was other meaning to it, and that's the reason why I was referencing that. I think I got the point of the band. I promise I'm not that uncool. I may seem like it, but I'm not. What about the tortoise? Well, Harriet actually is doing a spa day today, but Harriet, again, has no idea what's going on outside because she is in an indoor enclosure this time of the year, staying under constant temperatures. Generally during the day, she gets to about 85 degrees in her enclosure and about 65 or so at night. I mean, trust me, she's got the life. So she's enjoying it. She has no idea, but yeah, she would not survive in this type of climate. That is for sure. Too cold, way too cold. All right. So what's the game plan here? Well, before we get into the setup for later this week, just a quick recap on where we are on where we're at now, and then into some of the stats for the season here, as you guys are aware. I thought I included this somewhere up here. Hold on. Maybe I accidentally skipped. Oh, you know what? I skipped several of my maps today. What was I thinking? Okay, well, hold on one second. There's gonna be a couple things I'm gonna have to turn off. I was rolling on too fast in my head, but it's nothing major, I promise. I'll explain what they are. The stats, though, for first off, temperature, you can see we're at 13 here in Louisville. We did drop to 7 this morning in Louisville, 5 yesterday, 7 this morning. Some of the colder spots, I found a lot of 2 below zeros into Shelby County, about 1 below zero into 2 below zero into Trimble, almost 2 below zero in Shelby. Several 0 spots showed up though in the bluegrass section there of Kentucky, anywhere from Oldham County to Frankfort, and then southern Indiana, several spots below 0. Wind chill, of course, not as brutal today. It's just been about the actual temperatures outside. I hope your pipes made it through, but now we're in the thawing phase. So if there's any issues with your pipes, this is where they show up. Is not so much today because we're likely to stay below freezing today, but tomorrow and Wednesday when we thaw, this is when we really start paying attention to water main breaks and pipes that start to bust. It's when the actual expansion again from the ice that took place from the deep freeze, all that begins to melt. It begins to expose any cracks in anywhere. And right now they're basically sealed, the cracks are. But once we thaw out, they will be exposed. So pay attention still to your pipes. You don't have to run them as much, obviously, after today on dripping them, but pay attention now for leaks. Look for that as we begin to thaw out. And let's hope we don't have any water main breaks in our communities, but very few times I've seen us go through a stretch of cold like this and not get something like that. It's pretty common that we do. So just kind of a heads up on that. Want to show the snow stats there because I did want to bring them in. Where are they at? I just saw them a second ago. Let's see. I know they were right on my screen 2 seconds ago, and I already lost them. Just discuss, amongst yourselves here. Here, you guys staring at me. It makes me uncomfortable. I'm very shy. Okay. I know I just had them right here in front of me. Oh, there they are. I knew I saw them. All right. The stats. Okay. 10.6. There we go. Not only is it that our season total, but that is our December total of 10.6. Normally, for just a winter, meteorological winter is like December through February. It's roughly about 11 inches that we get for an average winter. All right, we're almost there. And for an annual snowfall, which is 13.5, a little bit more because sometimes we get snow in November, sometimes we get snow in March, right? You mean April. So our annual snowfall usually like to go by because we seem to have more March snows than often anymore these years. So that number is 13.4. So we're only about 3.5, maybe we're really 3 inches away from matching that level of a winter. Pretty wild, right? What's interesting, look at December, the number third spot, or 2000. That was one of the analogs that came up when we were putting the winter forecast together was December 2000, which was a very cold and snowy month. It didn't really ease up at all the way through Christmas. This one's easing up, as we're about to see. But in 2000, it did not. And we ended up with 13.9. A lot of little snows. And that's how this trend was, too. It's very common when you're right on the edge of the Arctic boundary, you get a lot of these little bitty snows that start to add up and just create a lot of cold and slick travel, right? But I think that ranking of number 4 for this year, that should hold. I would be surprised. I know snow lovers are not going to like when I say this, but I would be surprised if we added much more to that for the rest of the year and for December. I would be surprised. It's possible, I'll try to explain coming up, but odds are a lot lower for that than they have been for the first part of the month. But hey, look, snow lovers, you've had a record-breaking setup here. So can't complain too much. Don't get this too often in December. So I think it's been kind of fun to enjoy the snowy trends. Kids got some snow days out of it before you even get to the holiday break. Hey, that's always a plus, right? Teachers are like, no, I'm not really stressed out now. So are parents, I get it. But hey, the kids, hey, it's not been a bad December for them. All right, so where do we go here? Well, if you look carefully, we do have clouds that are trying to sneak in. I know some of you are loving the sun outside, but we do have clouds that are dropping in from Indiana, sinking south into northern Kentucky. Should create more of a hazy sky. I don't think it's going to be like an overcast setup, but you'll have passing clouds at times. That may limit some of the warmth we'll see today in areas that see more of them than others and have even just an inch or so of snow on the ground. You may not warm as much as everyone else. But overall, it will be a cold day today. We will stay below freezing all day. But just want to mention right there on the snowpack, and you can even see before the clouds rolled in where the snowpack from Saturday, was it Saturday? I'm already forgetting all the days. Yeah, Saturday night was roughly southern Indiana, right into Louisville and just southeast of Louisville and points north and east. That was the Clipper zone, if you will. I think overall, the snow forecasts have gone well this year. I mean, I know the data has been stressful to look at, but the theme of all of them have really played out well. The different types of snow, the different impacts we would see from the snow, wet snow versus dry snow, and how it impacts roads. All that's played out fairly well. So I've seen way worse on snow forecasts that we've had even in recent years and challenging ones. So these have actually gone fairly well. So we'll see how the rest of the winter goes. But we are going to get a break here, guys, because we do have a pattern flip happening. We're switching up things to where the Arctic air is getting recentered back again into the North Pole area. So that is going to allow for some of that warmer flow that's coming in from the active jet coming into California. That warmer flow of air from the Pacific is going to get a little more involved in our weather. So that is going to allow for temperatures to climb actually above normal, and in some cases way above normal. But remember, you got to look at it like a rubber band. We're pulling on it during the Arctic period and snow. We're snapping back now. That will be the next few days is the snapping back, but we're about to stretch it again, but for a warm period of weather, which means eventually that will snap, and that will bring us back to a colder setup. When does that happen? Well, I'll tell you right now that we're going to get a lot more data as this week rolls on for early January. But I don't think we're going to see a substantial change for the rest of this year. I think it'll have to be in January. A lot of things are, at least the signals rolling up of another, what we call a stretch polar vortex showing up for right after the new year, very close to the new year or just after, which would line up almost like how last year played out. Remember, last year was relatively warm at Christmas, right? And then we ended up to what you guys, I'm sure, remember for how January turned out. It seems very similar on that. But again, I'll go into more detail coming up and a little more on that tomorrow in the coming days. All right, I promise. All right, but we need to focus on our next weather system coming our way. And let me show you the short range first. Again, staying below freezing today. It's showing 32 this afternoon. Yeah, we're not going to get there. We'll have too many clouds for that to be an issue. So the snow, if you have snow on the ground, you'll hold on to it. The only way you can get rid of snow, even below freezing, as some of you probably noticed yesterday, is sublimation. Snow can go from a solid to a vapor without becoming a liquid. That happens in cold Arctic air masses. When the sun is hitting it, it can skip a phase, if you will, and evaporate. So if you're thinking, where did the snow go on the roads that weren't treated? It was there, but now it's not there. But we're at zero. And it's because the sun was hitting it and actually turned the snow that was out there in the roads as it hit it into an actual vapor, and it went away. So sublimation there can happen. So sometimes you lose some of your snow and even very cold setups if you get enough sunshine, even staying cold and below freezing. And if you're in a shady spot, that isn't going to happen, but the sun can do that, which is why the Arctic typically is not deep snow. When you think about the Arctic, you're always thinking, oh my gosh, it's always snow. And no, not really. It's really just a frozen tundra ice kind of setup, but a lot of it is evaporating out into the air. It's ice crystals more than anything. All right. Anyway, get into a way off topic again. Surprise. Better chance to get above freezing on Tuesday. This is where we will have a chance to get to the car washes, get our cars cleaned up a little bit. You'll see some more melting. Most of the snow at that point will be gone in all areas by the time we get into Tuesday, and certainly on Wednesday. Now, Wednesday even can feature even a little bit of light rain. What surprised me is we push close to 50 degrees. The air is still going to be quite dry, so it may take a little bit of time to get everything saturated. But Wednesday, a few rain showers, nothing dramatic here. But that does lead to the next setup, which is going to be the cold front that will arrive on Thursday. You start to see warmer push of air, which may lead to some fog, because this is going to be a warm front moving in Thursday night. Temperatures should actually rise Thursday night throughout the entire night. Could even be in the 50s by the time you wake up Thursday morning. It will be windy. And again, fog, possibly for the wind ramps up. Then we get into an active setup on Thursday itself. Now, this is a very familiar setup. This is the third time I have seen this technically an autumn season here, where we're going to get a front moving in, a lot of wind during the day. Right now, the wind may hold just below wind advisory level. It's going to be close. But this is what you have, another split area where you've got rain, maybe some thunder on the front end, and then the main front or the main batch of heavier rain and wind in the wind shift split on the other side of the front. We call this an antifront type of setup. Most of your heavier rain and even the strongest of wind in some cases will be post-frontal, not pre-frontal. That's interesting because that does cut down on your severe thunderstorm potential. And it's happened several times this season already. If you're going to get anything on the stronger wind side before the front hits, it would be with that leading edge of rain. This would be likely Thursday afternoon. The longer it takes to get here, the better their odds are we can hit 60 degrees for a high on Thursday. If it arrives too fast or we cloud over too fast, we will likely stay just under that, but I'm talking like 58, 59. Either way, much warmer, but windy. We'll get a round of rain, maybe some thunder, maybe. Then we'll see a small ease for maybe 35 minutes. Not very long, a very small break. Then we get into the actual wind shift line, which will have the strongest of the wind with it. The wind may actually even relax a bit in between the two bands. The wind will ease down suddenly for like an hour, get a little eerie out where it calms down. And then the second push of wind hits with the wind shift. Now, in this scenario, what has been interesting is that the other times we've witnessed this year, we have witnessed a very small amount of rotation that can develop in some of these downpours, even without thunder and lightning. And we've had 2 very weak tornadoes that have touched down this year, mainly south of the parkways. I don't see a strong signal right now for that, but I'm not going to rule it out because the setup, again, is eerily similar to the other 2 that we've had. And this is a year where everything seems to want to repeat. So it wouldn't surprise me that we may have a bit of a low-end severe risk that may develop far southern Kentucky into Tennessee. I don't see it north of the parkways right now. I think it's going to be a parkway south, if anything. But we'll monitor this. We got a few days. We need more data to really get high res in there to see and look for that factor. We know what we're looking for. We just needed to see if we notice it in the data or not, and we're too far out. So all I'm going to say is just something that, being fully transparent, we'll be working on this week and see if it's still there, or will it just be a wall of rain and wind and that's it. But it will no doubt get your attention. I mean, this is a 100% chance of rain. It's coming, guys. It's coming on Thursday. It is going to rain. It is going to wash away all the salt off the roads, and we do drop. As we drop that night, the cold air does lag a bit, only by maybe 2 hours when the rain leaves town. So there it's a cat and mouse, Tom and Jerry kind of thing. How fast do they catch up with each other? And models are always different on that. Sometimes they bring it in to allow for a brief changeover to snow that ends. The Euro is actually notorious for not showing a rain to snow changeover. It's one of the biases of it. GFS usually shows it every time. I think the truth is somewhere in the middle. It's very common to get snow showers in behind fronts like this. So I'm not going to rule out I don't know about the rain ending as snow right away on the actual rain band, but I do think we'll get some flurries and snow showers Thursday night, maybe in parts of Friday, but they will not be consequential at all. It's going to be very minor. So barely even make it on the snowboard, but it will be a one-day return to winter on Friday. May not even get too much above freezing actually on Friday. So Thursday will be your warmer day, but it will be messy, rainy Thursday night. And then we get in 1 day of winter. And then as soon as the system leaves, we warm right back up with more wind, by the way. And we'll push right back into the 50s, maybe close to 60 again for the upcoming weekend. So these colder shots of air, since they are not Arctic in origin, really, they don't have any sticking power. The Pacific air is too overwhelming. The pattern's too overwhelming. And progressive to bring it in. All right, here's your potential wind gust. And again, during the day, 30 to 40 miles per hour. Likely, once we get into the rainy side, it's going to be a question of whether or not the rain itself, especially that on a front portion of the rain, the main heavier band, the second part, if rain can get pulled down below the tree line, this is certainly going to be a system with a lot of wind with it. Don't get me wrong. I mean, you don't have to go up at all. In fact, if you live in Floyd's Knobs, you have a chance to get some of those gusts over 40 miles per hour with this system. But even just being below that elevation down at the lower levels into the city of Louisville, say perhaps, and into Fern Creek or even into Shelbyville, your potential to get some stronger winds goes down a bit. But it's not zero yet, so this could still change. Could we get a wind advisory out of that? Maybe it's possible. But I don't know if we're going to get a lot of lightning out of this. That's what's going to be really odd about this one is we may end up with a lot of wind and rain. And again, we'll have to watch for some of that rotating potential south of the parkways for just a few of you. But I don't want to play that up because I don't think that's a huge issue. But boy, this system looks very similar to what that was like. Okay. After that, we enjoy some warmer weather. There's the system from the Euro on a broader scale. Again, your main severe risk is going to be roughly south parkways down into the deep south. And snow, best chance will be closer to the curl of the low, which will be up into the upper Midwest. Once again, another snow event for Wisconsin and the UP of Michigan. Been a snowy season up there. And then that moves on out, and then we relax it and warm back up. A little bit of rain that may come in on Sunday. This worried me initially when I first was looking at this last week because, boy, it looked like it could have been a freezing rain setup for us. But no, it's going to be too far north. So that's good. I don't like freezing rain. Nobody does. So I think right now that's just going to be a cool rain initially. And this is Christmas Eve. I mean, this is taking a model run at face value. And this is Christmas Day. What would that mean? Well, again, if you take the models at face value, we're looking at 60s for the holidays this year. Will it hold into New Year's Eve? I don't know yet. Possibly. But for Christmas, as of now, it is trending warm. How you guys feel about that? Type 3 if you're okay with that. Type -3 if you are mad about that. I would think most people will be okay with it because, again, we want to travel. I know you guys want a white Christmas. I get that. But you probably still want to get around. We're going to get cabin fever. And we're going to be over the snow. Even snow lovers will be really over this pattern if it keeps going like this. If we don't shake things up, kind of rebuild. What is it snow lovers love to do? We like to rebuild the drama, right? Relax, get back to a warmer pattern. Let everybody have their warm period so that the snow haters are happy too. They get their warm. And then we get back in the game. I think it's easy to do that. Okay. It's a true battle on here. -3s. Well, this is a SnowTALK blog, so I guess I kind of expected that. Tawana put +3. She put a +3. She really does want snow. She tells me off air, but she won't tell you all that. Francine, -3. All right. Very good. Very good. All right. Well, that's generally the way it's looking, guys. I mean, this is a pretty, what you see, what you get kind of forecast. Pretty easy going. I don't mind the change, to be honest. In that sense, I think we all just need a break. We got plenty of winter to go, plenty of time for things to come back into play. I think right now, we all just need a little bit of an ease on this and have a chance to thaw out and clean our cars off. You know what I mean? Just kind of reset. And we're going to get that. Now, it will come and get the cost of rain, heavy rain at that for Thursday, and wind. We'll update you guys on the wind part, especially for your inflatables. And then as we head into the first day of winter, 48 degrees. And then as of now, Christmas Eve, 56 with a chance of showers. We'll worry about the rain part as we get a little closer. Don't panic on rain right now for Christmas. I know if it's not going to snow, a lot of people really just want it to be sunny because they don't want, especially for the kids, when the kids get their toys, they want to go outside and play. So you don't want to be trapped inside with rain, even if it's warmer. So I get that. You want dry. We'll work on that and the finer details. It's pretty far out in the 10-day. All right. Everyone good? Everyone good? Everyone good? Everyone good? All right. You guys are fine. Kind of mixed feelings here today. I get it. But I think overall, this is a good thing for us and for our streets to kind of recover a bit. All right. I'm going to leave it at that, guys. Keep it kind of short here. Tomorrow, again, we'll go into a little bit more on the power outage there, Harrison County. Thank you, Wavy. We'll go into a little bit more of a longer-term dive to discuss more of January as we evolve through this week. That will be our topic, as well as monitoring Thursday. So it'll be a mix of Thursday, a mix of long-term discussion there. We may end up, though, with a storm talk before the week is over with instead of SnowTALK. Ooh, don't get that very often. All right, take care, everyone. I will see you guys coming up on the flip side. Take care.